Hi there, this is Mr. Mike Kaufman. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Kaizena to improve student learning through feedback. Now, we all know that feedback is a high-yield strategy, and in the words of Janie Pollack, right, the hinge between teaching and learning. And Kaizena is a digital tool that helps us to deliver better feedback to our students. Now, specifically, what it helps us or allows us to do is to leave verbal comments on student work, as well as attach and track skills, and attach lessons, again, right inside the work that a student would submit to you using a Google Doc. All right, so in this video, let's show you how to get started, and let's get going. So the first thing you want to do is in a Google Doc, could be a assignment that you have set up ready to go for students, or you want to add Kaizena to Google Docs for you. You can simply click on Get Add-ons, and then search Kaizena. And then you want to add it. Now I've already added it, so that step is not available to me now, but just follow the different prompts and yes, submit to the permissions that's going to ask to access some of the things in Drive and Docs, and just click yes. All right. Now, once Kaizena is set up, right, or it's added on, you want to do a little bit of setup. So I'm going to open Kaizena over, and it's going to open up on the right side of my screen, and it's going to give me some choices for some different things that I can add on, right? I'm not going to leave any voice messages because this is just the assignment template, but I am going to click on Track Skills, and I'm actually going to click on Manage Skills on the app.kaizena.com. Now here, what it's going to allow me to do is set up some specific skills, almost like a digital rubric that I'm going to use, right, for this assignment. Now the really nice part about it is once you add these in here, you can then use them throughout the year. So you don't have to add it on each assignment, they will get saved, and you can sort of build on your set of skills as you use the tool more and more. Now you can see I already have one added, paraphrasing, but I'm going to click New Skill, and I'm going to give it a name. In this case, I'm going to be taking a look at the student's ability to add citations. I'm going to click Create, and then I'm going to go over there and click Edit Skill Levels. Right now it's a level 0 through 4, right? And I typically use a 1 through 4, but I'm going to add some descriptions. Now I'm going to go right to my rubric that I've already created, and I'm just going to copy and paste those descriptions over, right? For a 4, I'll go down there, add it to a 4, and so forth, right? I'll continue through here, adding the different descriptions, right, for the different levels, right, that I'm going to be grading and assessing my students on. Now what's great, and you're going to see this in a little bit, is this then is going to get attached right into student work, so they will be able to see, right, the rubric right in there. And then I'm going to click Done. All right, now I've successfully added a citation skill. The next thing I'm going to be able to add are lessons. Now lessons could be a variety of things, right? There could be voice comments. I'm going to show you that in a minute. It can also be links to videos or links to other assignments that are going to support the students. You can see I have one here already. I'm paraphrasing from the video I used to teach my students about this important skill. And to add a new lesson, I'm simply going to click Add a New Lesson. And I'm going to give it a name. And in this case, I want to add one about comma use. Oops, comma use. All right, and click Create. Now, then it's going to give me the choice of different things I can attach to it, right? So let's see what I want to do. Let's add some. In this case, I could add comments or paste links to videos or to websites, right? And again, it could be voice comments or written comments. So these are going to be things, again, lessons or feedback that I might be giving often to students. And so I want to create it here to make it easier later on. I'm going to take this website that my students use on English grammar. I'm going to attach that link right in there and click Post. All right. Now, in the beginning, it is definitely a little bit of setup work, but it's worth the time at the start of the assignment just to add these lessons and skills in. Again, they're all saved right in Kaizena, so as the year moves on, some of these generic ones like comma use or citations or whatever it is that might come up again and again in different assignments will already be ready for you. And again, will be a little bit of work in the beginning, but as you add to it, will just save you time later on. All right, so I've got my assignment set up. I've got Kaizena set up. I'm now going to take a look at my student assignment. All right, so now that my student has submitted the work, I'm going to go in there and open it up. And then as soon as the work finishes loading, I'm then going to click on add-ons. It's a little bit slow right now. All right, let's try now. Let's click on add-ons. And again, as soon as it's unloading, you're going to see the Kaizena add-on option right there. The internet seems to be working a little bit slow right now. It's dragging. All right. And then I'm going to open up Kaizena. And again, it's going to open up on the side of my document just as it did when I was setting it up when I created my assignment for my students. Now, how does it work? So you're going to see the different options of things I can add on to the student work, right? And the first I'm going to show us is tracking a skill, right? Those are the things we just added on. So for example, right there, I'm seeing some mistakes there with some punctuation, right? No commas or anything. And let me actually better highlight that. And you're going to notice as soon as I highlighted it, it's right up there. I'm going to click, I'm going to attach a lesson actually. And the lesson right there is comma use, right? And I'm going to post. And now what you're going to see is in this part of the text, right, where the student maybe should have used a comma, there's a link then to the website that my students use to help them with the grammar. Now, as I'm reading this whole introduction paragraph, right, I'm definitely noticing some things that are reoccurring, right? We got some mechanical errors. I can highlight the whole thing or just part of it, whatever it is. But let me just highlight the first half. I'm going to go down on to skill, right? I'm going to click mechanics, right, which is something I've already added to Kaizena. And again, I'm taking a look at it. There's definitely some mistakes, but it doesn't interfere with meaning. So I'm going to attach number 3. Right, and again, you'll notice this is right from my rubric, that there's numerous mistakes, but they don't interfere with understanding. Great, and I'm going to post. All right, now the really bread and butter of Kaizena, and really where I love where it comes in, of course, is the voice comments. All right, so let's say I want to comment on the student's paraphrasing. Maybe I'll just highlight that part, or go down and click voice message. And then I'm going to click record, and I'm going to give some feedback to the student. All right, very nice work, MS student. You did a really nice job there using your own words in this paraphrase. It really shows that you understood the text really well and that you clearly used the strategies. And I'm going to click stop and post. And it's going to upload then my voice comment to the student's work. There it is, right? I could always listen to it as well if I want to hear how it sounds. All right, very nice work, MS. All right, and you can hear it now. That was a very specific comment to one of the students. However, Kaizena's got a great feature. Let's say you're seeing some things that are reoccurring, you know, over several student assignments, and you're a little tired of repeating the same comment. Look what you can do, right? Let's say, for example, the students, really everyone is really just having a hard time with the definition, right? And you want them to re-watch it. All right, so watch. I'm going to click on here. I'm going to click my voice message again, click record. I think that you should re-watch the beginning of the video because your definition is a little bit off on what a paraphrase actually is. All right, I'm going to stop and post. Now, again, this is where the cool part comes in. As soon as it's done uploading, which, again, is taking a second there. Usually this is a little bit quicker, but my internet seems to be working a little bit slow. I'm going to click on the 3-dot menu, and I'm going to click on the light bulb, which means it's going to save it as a lesson, right? And maybe I'll name it paraphrase definition, right? And I'm going to hit create. So now, for example, then, if I were in with my next student, right, and I notice the same thing, right, I could then highlight my next student's work, click on lesson, paraphrase definition, and then look, there it is, right? Post, and now you're going to notice it's the same comment that I left for the specific student is now a generic lesson that I can use for all my students. I think that you should rewatch. So that's a great feature, right? It's going to save you time. It's going to allow you to find those patterns and really just give, again, specific feedback without having to repeat yourself again and again and again. Now, I want to give you a glimpse of what this looks like for the student work. One thing to be certain of, and I'll show you right now, if I click over to the student's work, right here it is, and the student opens it up, they're going to see the highlights. However, right, when they go up, the add-ons isn't available because it's still submitted to Classroom and it hasn't been returned yet. right? So the student doesn't have editing rights. So as a teacher, again, what I then need to do, right, is I can close this out. I'll leave it open for now. I can go back in here. When I'm done giving the feedback and grading the student, I'm going to return it to them. All right, return. Of course, can add on comments and grades here. And then when the student goes back to their document, once it's been returned, they do then have editing rights. So it's just something to be conscious of, that you will have to return the work in order for them to edit. But that's true, right, with any assignment. Once the students don't get to edit or make changes until you've returned it. So what the students are going to need to do is, in their document, also enable Kaizena. So you are going to have to get them to add it onto their Google Docs. And then when they open it up, check out what they see, right? All those comments and feedback that you left are now on their work, right? So when they click on something, right, look at it, pops right up. Right? So they clicked on this highlight. They've got the grade, they've got the score and mechanics, right? And they've even got, again, the specific feedback from the rubric. And let's say they come down here, right? Click on Learn, and now they can listen to your voice comment. I think that you should rewatch. Now, what's also really cool and a wonderful feature of Kaizena is that it's not just a one-way conversation tool. Students can respond back to you, right? For example, they could go to voice message and say, hey, Mr. Kaufman, I went back in and I fixed the mistakes. I had a couple I's that weren't capitalized, as well as I was missing a period after said and a period at the end of it. I've made those changes. Can you please go back and check it and let me know? Thank you. Now, what I love about this feature is you can have students not just ask you questions through it or have a dialogue through it, which is definitely useful. You can have them explain the changes they made. And why I like that is that when you go back in to maybe reassess it, you don't have to necessarily reread it. You can just listen to their response, and based on what they're saying, you will know whether or not they understood their mistakes. Right? What a great feature, right? And again, you can do it on your own time digitally. Now let's see what it looks like back in the teacher view now that the student has responded. Let's go back here. And look, there it is, popped up instantly. Hey, Mr. Kaufman, I went back in and I can press pause, and then I can reply back to them. Right? So you can see we can have this ongoing dialogue and so forth, and students, again, can fix their work and make changes. And while you can reread it, you don't necessarily have to, because you can base their learning based off the comments they make and really to tell whether or not they got and understood the concepts. All right, so that is really it. That's a pretty in-depth and extended look at some of the tools of Kaizena and how it looks on both the teacher and student end and some of its cool features. This video is a little bit long, but I hope it helps you to improve your students' learning through better feedback. Good luck.